guy with a big job in vaccinology resigns and says, I can't work with Bobby Kennedy. He's all about misinformation. Now, turns out that they were going to get rid of him. Why? Because of what he just said. So what does that tell us about the promise of the MAHA movement? Okay, Make America Healthy Again. Dr. Phil McGraw believes in it. Okay, an outspoken supporter of President Trump during the election. Since then, he has joined Trump's border czar on raids. He did a ride along with ICE. We all saw that. Now he's joined the MAHA movement, okay? Merit Street Media has a special airing Wednesday on that very topic, and I asked the doctor to come on in and talk to me about it. Dr. Phil, always a pleasure.
How you doing?
I'm doing well, and it's good to see you.
Good to see you.
What did you make? What did you make of the guy stepping away and saying, I don't believe that when it comes to vaccines, Bobby is serious about transparency and vetting. He just wants to push propaganda. What's been your experience?
Well, my experience is that he's very sincere about this. And I don't think that he's been in the job long enough for anybody to know whether he's sincere or whether he's not. I mean, if the guy's concerned, then he shouldn't be there. If he can't get behind the program, if he has intellectual reservations about it, then I totally respect him feeling like he needs to step away. I have found RFK Jr. to be committed to the science. I have found him to be someone that is going to follow empiricism and, not some cockamamie story or theory. And I think people need to focus on where he is now and what he does now. And I anticipate we're going to see a lot of transparency from him. And if not, he should be called out on it 100%, no question about it.
Accountability is easy. In terms of what they target and what you want to see, fill us in. No pun intended.
Well, here's what I want to see. And everybody can fact check this, and I invite them to do so. We have one of the sickest generations of young people of any developed countries. I think we're 33 out of 38 among developed countries right now in terms of the presence of chronic disease in young people. And look, there aren't any Democrat children, there aren't any Republican children, they're just American children. This isn't a political issue for me. And Chris, I don't know enough about politics to discuss it intelligently, so I'm not even going to try. I'm interested in cultural issues. And I think when we look at the presence of chronic diseases among our young people, in the 60s, it was like 2, 3, 4% of young people had chronic diseases. Now, it's like 40%. And this is a serious problem that can be eliminated in one generation if we'll just do a few different things that are totally doable. We need to get kids off their phones and back outside in the fresh air and exercising. We need to start feeding them foods that aren't processed. We need to make sure that the chemicals that are in our foods are the ones that need to be there to keep the foods safe. There are probably 10,000 chemicals in our foods that aren't in the foods in Europe. Foods aren't meant to last forever. They're meant to spoil if you don't eat them. You need to be eating foods that are more natural for our children. And if we do that, I think we'll see this chronic disease epidemic begin to go down. And that gives our kids a chance to have a longer life, a higher quality life. 70% of our young people right now can't qualify for military service, for example. Not that we need 70% in military service, but they don't even qualify. Obesity and diabetes, type 2 diabetes, essential hypertension, all different kinds of chronic diseases that are avoidable. And that's what I'm interested in. And, right now we've got so many of these food companies that were purchased by tobacco companies that are spending more money lobbying our Congress than oil and gas companies.
That's the issue.
So
now
we need to really take a look at that.
Now we're on the same page, Doc. We don't got to look at it because it's very obvious. But whether it's why you leave the DOD alone or why you don't go after the people who employ the illegal entrants, or why you are not going to change what happens with America's food. Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget, click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.